Good morning, everybody. I'm going to review with you 12-2 Practice Buddy that you completed on Friday, and this will help you to get clarification on some of the things that may have been troubling to you, and will also help you in completing 12-2 additional Practice Buddy today. So I wanted to go over this with you in hopes to help you understand things a little bit more clearly. So here, in the first problem, it asked us to write the fraction that represents each part of the whole. When it says to write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole, remember, a unit fraction always talks about just one part. So if you take a look at this shape, although there are 3 parts shaded, we will eventually have to discuss the number of parts shaded, but we also first need to give the answer for the unit fraction. So the unit fraction that represents each part of this whole is, since there's 4 parts, it is 1/4. Remember, click this fraction button here to type in your fraction, 1/4. Then again, here, like I stated in the video on Friday, the number of shaded parts, just the whole number, not the fraction, the number is 3, and therefore the fraction of shaded parts is 3/4. If I wanted to discuss the number of parts that were not shaded, I would say that it was 1/4. And remember, 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 4/4. And whenever the number on the top and bottom are the same, the numerator and the denominator are the same digit, that equals 1/2. I will check my answer and get confirmation that it is correct. Let's move on. Here we have another shape. This is a hexagon. It has 6 sides, and it is also divided into 6 parts. So it says to write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole. So again, the unit fraction is one of those parts. So one of them is 1/6. By the way, when we are discussing unit fractions, it takes the number that is in the denominator. That's how many parts it will take to make up one whole. So for this shape, if the unit fraction is 1/6, that means that it would take 6 of them. 6/6. So 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and then 6/6 to make up one whole. So the number of parts shaded here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, the fraction shaded is 4/6. Now, you may have had different problems on Friday because, as I stated last time, there are different copies of these assignments, so not everyone gets the same problems. You could also do a similar question if you'd like to continue practicing, get a little extra practice. Here we're looking at another hexagon. So again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So the unit fraction is 1/6. One of those parts discusses the unit fraction. And the number shaded is 2. And therefore, 2 of the 6 are shaded. So 2 out of the 6. So 2/6. Answer to confirm. All right, let's move on to the next one. Another example, same type of problem. Write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole. Next, write the number of shaded parts, then write the fraction of the whole that is shaded. So the unit fraction that represents each equal part, remember that's a unit fraction, just one of them, is 1. And since there's 2, 4, 6, 8 parts, that's 1/8. The number of parts shaded here, we see that there's 5. Therefore, the fraction of the whole that is shaded is 5/8. And remember, a fraction is a part of a whole. It's less than the whole. It's less than one whole. It's 5 out of 8 in this case. Check answer and confirm. All right, now it says to draw a rectangle that shows 6 equal parts. Write the unit fraction that represents each part, then shade 4/6 of the rectangle, so 4 out of the 6, and explain how you know you shaded 4/6 of the rectangle. Now, before we begin on this problem, I wanted to point out, if you take a look at these 4 rectangles, they are all the same size. So we can compare unit fractions. I want to start with this one here because this is 1/3. Okay, this here is 1/4. Thirds, fourths, sixths, and eighths. Now I want you to look at just one of these parts. The unit fraction 1/3, as you can see, is bigger than 1/4. Okay, remember, when you're comparing fractions, when you're comparing unit fractions, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. So the smaller the digit in the denominator, actually the bigger the fraction is. So here we know 3 as a digit is smaller than 4. But because we're using fractions, 1/3 is bigger than 1/4, which is bigger than 1/6, and which is bigger than 1/8. Okay, so that's going to become important in the future. All right, so anyway, we're looking for 6 equal parts, so we're looking here at letter C. So I'll choose that and check my answer. Okay, then it tells me to then shade, write the unit fraction. So here the unit fraction that represents one of these parts, here's sixths, is 1/6. Check that answer. And then finally select the answer that has 4/6 shaded. So here we see this has 3/8 shaded. This has 5/6 shaded. This has 2/8 shaded. So right here, 4 out of these 6 are shaded. All right, oops. Okay, and then finally, I know I shaded 4/6 because each equal part is 1. This might have been confusing. Each equal part is 1/6, and I shaded 4 of them. Okay, so again, 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 is 4/6. So I shaded 4 of them. Really what we're doing here is multiplying 4 times 1/6 equals 4/6, or repeated addition. Like I said, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 4/6. So you can multiply fractions too, and you can add them. All future fraction things that you'll see. Fractions are really, really fun. In the fraction 2/3, 2 is it's on the top. Remember, N for north, it's the numerator. And 3, D for down, is the denominator. All right, on to the next one. Divide the grid on the right into thirds. Okay, so maybe this was a little confusing. Okay, so we're taking this shape and we need to divide it into thirds. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about dividing fractions here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 squares. Well, what's 12 divided by 3? Because we are dividing it into thirds. Right here, you can see thirds. We can do 12 divided by 3, which is 4. Look right here. 4 in each part. There's 4 in this part, 4 in this part, and 4 in this part. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and we have 3 parts with 4 in each part. So fractions, multiplication, division, they're all related. All math is related. And you will learn more and more about this as time goes on. Again, I'm trying to help those that really understand this sort of advance their thinking a little bit, while also reviewing for those that need help. The fraction that represents the shaded area here is 2, since it's 2 of the 3, 2/3. And the fraction that represents the unshaded part is 1/3. Remember, 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 3/3. What can you generalize about your fractions? Basically, what rule can you state? Okay, the fractions together represent one whole, 2/3 and 1/3. The fractions are not related. They're relatable. The fractions together represent a small part of the whole. Well, the fractions together represent the whole, not small part of the whole. And the fractions together represent multiple wholes. Not true. It's only one whole. So here, the fractions together represent one whole. Deborah has 3 dogs and 5 cats. Each animal eats 2 times per day. How many times does Deborah have to feed her animals each day? Write equations to represent and solve the problem. Select the equation that shows how to find out how many pets Deborah has and fill in the answer box to complete. So to find out the number of pets she has, we're going to add, and that's going to give us 8. And then select the equation that solves the problem, which we're looking to see if they eat 2 times per day. It's the 8 times the 2. 8 pets times 2 times they're eating equals 16 meals. Draw a circle that shows 8 equal parts. So might as well start counting. 1, 2, 3. Well, start top left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this one has 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 3 have 8. So we need to shade more than 5/8 but less than 7/8. So that's between 5 and 7. That's 6/8. So here I know this one's 8 minus these 2 here is 6. So this one here is the 6/8. Fraction shaded is 6/8. What is the area of this baseball card? 10 centimeters times 7 centimeters. The area of the baseball card is 70 square centimeters. Remember, area gets square units. Perimeter gets units. By the way, just so we can do perimeter, we'd have 10 and 10, that's 20. 7 and 7 is 14, so 20 plus 14. The perimeter would be 34 centimeters. Area is multiplication. Whenever you get this message, by the way, okay, that means you have to check your answer, and then you can move on. And finally, select numbers from the box to write fractions to show one equal part of these vegetable trays. The fraction for one equal part of the small tray is, okay, 1 part of 3, 1/3. That answer, they're going to ask me for the medium tray. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 1/4. 1 out of the 4, 1/4. And finally, the big tray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 out of the 8, 1/8. All right, that does it for today. I hope this helped to clarify some things from last time. If you are fully understanding this, that's great. This is extra practice. Please pay attention to some of the additional things that I said so you can get extra practice. All right, that's it for today. So have a great day.